Scott just made the
back to
point.
Thomas Jefferson, you'll
used to
read
be a
that-
lot more secure, not just.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Whittle here with Steve Green and Scott Ott, and this is Trifecta. Well, let's talk about a story that didn't make the news last week. An Islamic gunman from Morocco, armed with a handgun, box cutter, and an AK-47 with several magazines, opened fire on a crowded commuter train running between Amsterdam and Paris, killing 182 men, women, and children. It was one of the worst mass murders since 9/11. And the reason that story didn't make the news last week is because it didn't happen. And the reason it didn't happen was because 3 Americans happened to be on board that train. When the gunman opened fire, wounding a French passenger, everyone on the train scurried for the little cover available on a rail car. But Oregon National Guardsman Alex Scarlatos looked over at his 2 other American friends and said, "Let's go." Airman First Class Spencer Stone sprinted at the gunman and tackled him, and Sacramento State University student Anthony Sadler joined in. Quote, "Spencer got to the guy first, grabbed the guy by the neck," said Scarlatos, "and I grabbed the handgun, got the handgun away from the guy and threw it. Then I grabbed the AK, which was at his feet, and started muzzle thumping him in the head with it." Now, Spencer Stone was cut on the neck and nearly had his thumb sliced off with the box cutter that the jihadist was carrying. But of course, that was before the jihadist got his muzzle thumped in the head repeatedly by 3 American kids on vacation in Europe. So here we are with Steve Green and Scott Ott to discuss this catastrophe that never happened. Gentlemen, I think I like the story better than anything I've heard since 9/11. Just regular Americans looking into the face of murder and terror and refusing to be murdered or terrorized. You know, just as on United 93, when Todd Beamer uttered his immortal "Let's roll," there's something in the American DNA that takes action when other people are hiding under seat cushions waiting to get shot. So, Steve, let's go to you. The French people, to their great credit, wasted no time in hailing the 3 Americans as heroes who saved a great many lives. Do you think, looking at these pictures, Steve, that deep down inside this incident might have reawoken in the French a sense of gratitude, not only for what these 3 men did, but what thousands of other young, swaggering, stupid, cultureless American cowboys did for France 70 years ago?
No.
Okay, that's your answer?
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Okay. Scott, Glenn Reynolds had a terrific article on this in USA Today. He talked about Americans being a pack, not a herd, cooperating wolves rather than frightened sheep, and he pointed out something that needs repeating. While the attack was still in progress, British citizen Chris Norman rushed to help and was also injured. After the incident, Mr. Norman said his first impulse was to look for cover, but when he saw the 3 Americans make a move towards the attacker, he just simply got up and joined them. Glenn Reynolds makes the case that while fear is contagious, so is courage. And it is, Scott, isn't it?
That's right. Man, that just got me choked up. You know, there are a couple of other beautiful details of this story that are not so dramatic. But when those guys got on board, they actually had first-class tickets. But for some reason, they couldn't find a seat where they thought they were supposed to be sitting. So they went and sat somewhere else. So that is kind of a uniquely American thing, I think, in many ways. It's especially for military guys that say, you know what? I know we have first-class tickets, but let's not, cause trouble for everybody. Let's just go take a seat. However, after a while, they found out that the Wi-Fi was no good where they were sitting. And in another beautifully American thing, they said, screw this. Let's go somewhere where they've got good Wi-Fi. And we've already got first-class tickets. So they actually moved into the car where the shooter was, unbeknownst to them. And they were there at the moment when they were needed most, simply because they were searching for a fat pipe bandwidth situation so that they could probably watch some goofy video or Skype their wife or whatever. This is a beautiful story, and Glenn is absolutely right. There is something about a man of courage that inspires courage in others, and it's great to hear that Brit recognize that, because I don't think everybody would have picked up on that. But he said, you know what? My first thought was for my own skin, but when I saw those guys running into the breach, I decided that's the thing to do. And that kind of courage can inspire the world again. We have it all over this country. More stories like this just need to come out.
Well, among the 554 passengers on board that train that day was a well-known French actor named Jean-Yves Anglade. He was the star of Betty Blue and Nikita. Here's what he had to say. "I thought it was the end. that we were going to die, that he was going to kill us all, he said. I really could see us all dying because we were all prisoners in that train, and it would have been impossible to escape from that nightmare, unquote. Now, Mr. Anglade was also slightly wounded, breaking the glass to sound the alarm. And there you have it. It was impossible to escape from that nightmare. Sounding the alarm would not have made the slightest difference whatsoever. And the point I want to make here is this. How many intellectuals and cultural elites, people like Mr. Anglade, French, American, or otherwise, denigrate and perpetually condemn men like Spencer Stone, Alex Carlatos, and Anthony Sadler as being gun-crazy, warmongering, lunatic brutes, while defending the Muslim immigrants like the one that tried to execute 554 innocent people? I wonder if Mr. Anglade will change his mind now that it was his life that was actually spared by 3 regular guys from across the ocean. For PJTV, I'm Bill Whittle.